Good morning. Welcome to the International Press Conference for the delegation, the presidential delegations from the Marshall Islands of President David Kabua, which today will be represented by the Foreign Minister of Foreign Affairs and Trade of the Marshall Islands, His Excellency Ambassador Carsten Nemra, to be here on behalf of the President and to share with us about the highlights of the visit. 各位女士、各位先生，大家早安！欢迎大家来到马绍尔共和国总统访问团在台湾进行国事访问的成果记者会。今天卡布尔总统他指派马绍尔的外交部长来碾瑞外交部长是外交跟外贸部长来代表卡布尔总统来跟大家说明他们在台湾进行国事访问的成果。那我们首先来请我们的这个外贸部长来讲几句话好了。So I would like also to first introduce and also the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Trade of the Marshall Islands, His Excellency Carsten Nemra.
Thank you. In the Marshall Islands, we say "Yelke," greetings, ni hao. Thank you, Ms. Ho, for the introduction and kind words. It is indeed my pleasure to be here with you and, of course, our friends in the media today. I would like to begin by extending, on behalf of His Excellency President David Kabua and the delegation, our most profound gratitude for Her Excellency President Tsai Ing-wen and the people and the government of the Republic of China, Taiwan, for the warm hospitality and a successful trip that we've had in the last few days. And of course, it will be remiss of me not to acknowledge my dear friend Minister Hu and colleagues that are here who has significantly played a role in ensuring a very successful state visit by Excellency President Kabua to here in beautiful Taiwan. Our delegation visit here is not only timely given the current state of affairs, but very symbolic indeed. President Kabua is his first official visit from the Marshall Islands to here to Republic of China, Taiwan, in his presidency for nearly over 2 years. We are very fortunate and grateful that this trip has been made possible and, as I expressed before, successful, despite numerous challenges, largely with COVID-19. But yet we've witnessed the professionalism, the arrangement, and above all, the hospitality that has been extended to the delegation. So thank you for the government and the leadership and people of Taiwan. The Republic of the Marshall Islands is a committed friend and staunch ally of the Republic of China, Taiwan. Our diplomatic ties, rooted as both deep Austronesian culture, strong people-to-people relation, and mutual aspiration in the Indo-Pacific region. We remain unshakable and as further cement the bond between our two respective countries, and will continue to promote peace and collaboration on the regional and international forum, and of course, to expand and deepen our bilateral relations. During this visit, President Kabua was enabled to dialogue with President Tsai on a number of key issues of mutual importance and how we can explore and further enhance our bilateral relationship for the respective countries. Additionally, the delegation was able to meet with a number of key members of the government and also the private sector here in Taiwan for RMI hopes to continue to build its effort as a young nation. In closing, once more, I wish to take this opportunity to reaffirm the commitment and the support that Marshall Islands will continue to work in close collaboration with the Republic of China, Taiwan, and to respect its sovereignty and also commend its democratic values as we both share. Taiwan needs to become a member of the international community. And Marshall Islands will continue to advocate for the rights of over 23 million people here in Taiwan. Thank you once again on behalf of President David Kabua and for the leadership and the people and government of the Republic of China for graciously welcoming us during our brief stay here. And we look forward for further collaboration and engagement with the government here, and we'll continue to do our part as mutual partners. 谢谢，Kamal Dada.
Thank you very much for Mr. Nemra for these warm words. And I believe we need translation from Jiahao. Thank you.
好的，仅代表我国政府的总统柯布亚总统要特别感谢全体台湾人民以及台湾的政府这几天以来的热情款待，还有再加上吴钊燮部长以及非常多同事们的努力以及专业，都确保说这次的国事访问能够非常的成功。那这一次的出访还是非常有极具特殊意义的，因为这是柯布亚总统就任2年多以来第一次的海外访问，也是官方的访问，第一次就来到了中华民国台湾。那即便有疫情的挑战，还是不但能成行，还成功的进行了国事访问，这都仰赖着许多团队的专业以及台湾政府以及人民的款待，对此非常的感谢。那马绍尔群岛共和国是中华民国台湾的忠实朋友。我们两国之间有非常深厚的南岛文化的连结，以及人民与人民之间的交流，因此马绍尔群岛共和国坚决的要进一步深化与台湾的邦谊，也非常期待跟台湾能够在南岛论坛有进一步的互动。这几天以来，跟蔡英文总统的团队进行了许多讨论，针对的都是双方非常关心的重要议题。在此行当中，也见到了非常多，无论是政府部门还是私人企业的许多重要的人员，有诸多的交流。那透过这次记者会，也要特别重申马绍尔群岛共和国对中华民国台湾坚定的支持、坚实的友谊，并且称许台湾所有的成就以及共享的价值。尤其要重申台湾的2300万人民应该要加入国际社会，参与国际的事务。再次感谢台湾人民以及台湾政府的热情款待，非常期待双方的进一步合作。
Thank you very much. Now, before we take the questions with the permission of the minister, I will also introduce some of the VIPs we have here with us. 我先也是介绍一下我们在场的这些贵宾，好不好？我们这边有我们的外长的夫人。We have first Madame Nemra here with us. Thank you so very much for joining our press conference. 我们的外长夫人 is right here. We have also here from our ambassador to Marshall Islands. 我们驻马绍尔的萧胜忠萧大使 Jeffrey Xiao. We also have another important member of the Marshall Islands delegation, right? The special assistant of the minister. Thank you very much for being here with us. Okay, now from the Taiwan side, we have first of all, we have Ambassador Wallace Cho. He is the Director General of the East Asian and Pacific Affairs of the Foreign Ministry. 我们外交部亚太司司长周明干周大使。We have also the ambassador of the Marshall Islands in Taiwan, Her Excellency Ambassador Nejun Edwards, 马绍尔驻台湾的艾瑞琼大使。And of course, we have the Chief Protocol of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs here, 外交部礼宾处李志强李大使 ，Ambassador Tom Chi, Chief Protocol of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So, having acknowledged all the VIPs here present here, and we have received many questions from all of you, what we're going to do is we're doing by group, if that's okay, by categories, right? 因为大家的问题很多，所以跟往常一样，好不好？我们就先把这个问题把它分类哦。我们这样现在看到的问题大概是分为2大类。第一大类是大家在问有关于台湾跟马绍尔彼此的一个关系。怎么样在增进彼此的这个合作，还有他们这一次访问台湾怎么样的一个最深刻的印象如何加强双方的关系，这一类我们先做那另外还有一类就是提到他们对于乌克兰跟俄罗斯的这个战争的这个看法，还有对于美国还有中国在印太区域的这个角色的一个扮演，这是第2类，我们等一下再一并处理。 So many questions we have received from the reporters. The first category is about their state visit to Taiwan, how has been going so far, their highlights, your deepest impressions, whether you want to share with us some of the concrete achievements of their visit to Taiwan. The second category is about their opinion, how did they see the war between Russia, invasion to Ukraine, and the presence of the United States and also China in the Indo-Pacific. And this will do the second group, okay? So I'm going to read the questions of the first group for all of you. 我先帮大家问第一类的问题。那如果大家有其他的问题想要加入在这个类别下，也欢迎大家这个现场记者朋友们可以提出。From Taiwan News, Kevin is asking, Taiwan News, Kevin 在问这一次马绍尔总统访问台湾有何重要的收获跟成果 ？So from Taiwan News, Kevin, what are President David Kabua's major takeaways and achievements from this state visit to Taiwan? And also Kevin asked, Kevin 还问就是马绍尔政府未来在跟台湾的双边的关系当中有什么样子的一个进展？What does the Marshall Islands hope to see the bilateral relationship between Taiwan and the Marshall Islands can be further strengthened？ 我们也接到这个中央社雅诗的提问，雅诗在问。这一次马绍尔总统首度访问台湾，请问台湾给他最深刻的印象是什么？未来马绍尔跟台湾渴望在哪一些项目上加强合作？是不是已经有具体的规划？ From Novia Huan, CNA, Central News Agency, and Novia is asking, in his first visit as president, what are the impressions Taiwan has left to President Kabua's in this first visit, state visit? And looking at whether there are other areas can the Marshall Islands and Taiwan strengthen cooperation, and whether there are some concrete plans you would like to share. Also, in this category, we received about Cindy, Epoch Times, 大纪元心仪问，面对复杂的国际情势，您认为台湾、美国还有马绍尔怎么样能够团结一致？有哪一些具体的可行的行动？譬如说军事、经济、外交、海事等层面，尤其是气候变迁对于马绍尔冲击严重，台湾跟马绍尔群岛在海洋的守护上面，还有气候变迁上，怎么样能够进一步的合作？ From Cindy, Epoch Times is asking, in facing a complicated international scenario, what do you think of the United States, Taiwan, and the Marshall Islands can be more united and show solidarity? What are the concrete actions do you think it can be taken in terms of military, economic, diplomatic, and maritime affairs? In particular about the climate change, which is a severe threat to the Marshall Islands. How can we advance cooperation, specifically in terms of marine protection and climate change? Okay, in this category, is there any additional questions? 有没有这个类别？还有没有其他记者现场朋友想要临时提问的？ 好，没有的话 ，Okay. So with the permission of the foreign minister, if you would be so gracious, in perhaps answering the questions, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ho. Those are good questions. Well, if I may, if there are two words that President Kabua can express in his state visit here. It's impressive and amazing. Of course, our president has been here before on a different capacity, but coming here as his first state visit under his administration, it's a plan that we've worked together over the number of months, but due to COVID, is postponed. But we're very happy and pleased that we managed to work together with our MOFA colleagues and others involved to make it possible. And arriving and having a chance for the bilateral talks and also a number of side meetings in engaging with respective agencies and also the private sector folks that are here. It's been nothing but very productive and quite impressive. And when I use those words, I don't use them lightly. The impressive. Taiwan economy has continued to grow impressively and amazingly. despite the COVID-19 pandemic. Marshall Islands, like the rest of the world, we're struggling in terms of economy. We rely heavily on fishery. We export fish. We are a large ocean nation, and it's our bread and butter. But COVID-19 has put much restriction on the supply side, and that also directly affects our revenue into the government. And of course, Taiwan is one of the first partners, along with other like-minded countries, has been very responsive to our needs and coping with COVID-19. So we're improving, but we're not like Taiwan, which managed to continue to grow amazingly enough and impressively enough, and find ways through its policy and how to cope with it to safeguard its citizens, but at the same time continue to grow as an economy, which is really hard to comprehend how amazing that is. It just shows that Taiwan as a democratic nation also serve, as President expressed to President Tsai, beacon or model and hope for the rest of the democratic countries, even our Pacific Island democratic nation. The way Taiwan implements its policy, good practices, and work closely with its people, with a number of stakeholders, including the private sector, I have nothing but quiet amazement and compliment to the leadership here, and of course to the people here who we find very generous, very hospitality, and very warm loving, which remind me of our own people. And that's what this is really all about. Outside the politicking of it, Marshall Islands established diplomatic ties with Taiwan 24 years ago, and we're proud of that relationship. And we want to deepen, expand, and find opportunities, not just government to government, but people to people. We have students that come here for education. They come home as doctors, as engineers. They serve and help our effort in the nation-building effort. And at the same time, we offer our country for business opportunities for Taiwan companies, and however ways we can complement and mutually benefit from our ties. And not only that, but Marshall Islands will continue to commit itself in advocating and be a voice for the government and people of Taiwan. We strongly and firmly believe that Taiwan needs to be included into a number of membership as far as the international and regional organization. A classic example is the WHO, World Health Organization. I could not emphasize the way in which we've experienced a global pandemic through the WHO. And Taiwan continues to be a model in how to cope with it, and it needs to be part of the WHO, essentially, to help other members in how it can provide as a full-fledged member. Although Taiwan is not a member, but it continues to provide humanitarian efforts in a number of countries, including the Marshall Islands, and also involved in other conflicts of the world. You mentioned just now Ukraine, which Marshall Islands condemns what Russia is doing. We've been very active in the international arena. We voice our view at the UN, and also as a member of Human Rights Council in Geneva, Marshall Islands is also taking an active role. No one country needs to preach the sovereignty of another country. That must be respected, and we need to uphold the rule of law. Otherwise, we will be in a very chaotic situation if we allow one country invade literally another country, and that's where Marshall Islands stand. And I understand Taiwan is also very strong advocate in making sure at least peace and prosperity continue, including this particular region. You mentioned earlier about the Indo-Pacific theme as far as Marshall Islands stand. We are strong support of the Indo-Pacific strategy. United States, like Taiwan, is our strong ally and partners. We have a rich history. We continue to work and collaborate as well with the United States. We may be considered a small island nation, but I always view ourselves as a member of the international community, full member. and also we contribute to the global economy, providing one of the largest tuna stocks to the global market. And those are the opportunities. I know we work with Taiwanese companies on fishery front, and we like to expand and have those opportunity grow for us. It will allow employment for our youth, for our population, and that's what we're really all about, to improve and have a mutual benefit between our two respective countries. And at the same time, as leader with President David back home, we want to see our people to improve their livelihood, good education, good health. These are the basic fundamental things a government should do, and that's why we're very honored and pleased to be here, because Taiwan has always stepped up to Marshall Islands, and President David was very honored to accept the invitation of President Tsai, being asked to come here and sign an agriculture document, and also very pleased to hear the announcement for a climate change and resilient fund, which Marshall Island is the front line of climate change. We're very vulnerable, and this is something that we will really need our partners in collaborating how we can combat the negative effects of climate change. So there are various levels in how we engage through this trip, not only between our two respective leaders, but us as officials, and also working closely and finding opportunities with the private sector. This will continue, and as I mentioned in my opening statement, Marshall Island is a friend of ROC Taiwan, and ROC Taiwan is a friend of Marshall Islands.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for this comprehensive answer. And we definitely need translation for that. 我们请嘉豪帮我们翻译，谢谢。
柯布亚总统这一次，他用2个形容词去形容这一次的国事访问，就是印象深刻以及非常美好。那基本上他讲用这2个字来形容，基本上并不是开玩笑，是非常认真的哈。就是说这一次，当然。这次的国事访问也是规划了非常久，也曾经延后了好几个月的时间，但最后还是成行，也十分的成功了。那这一次的国事访问呢，在不同的层级有不同的交流，无论是在公部门还是私部门等，成果非常的丰硕。那首先就是柯布亚总统他非常称许台湾在COVID-19 疫情当中，不但能够成功的防疫，而且能够保护人民，而且还能够兼顾经济的成长，这实在是不容易。因为像以马绍尔群岛来讲，在疫情当中呢，因为马绍尔群岛他们的经济仰赖渔业的出口，那在这部分来讲，在渔业供应方面呢，在疫情当中其实受到非常大的限制，也使得马绍尔共和国的政府的收入呢也非常的吃紧。但是台湾在马绍尔政府在比较困难的时刻呢，也算是第一时间因应的一个伙伴，能够第一时间因应马绍尔共和国的所有的需求，使得马绍尔共和国的很多状况都有所改善哈。那基本上就像柯布亚总统先前讲过的一样，台湾真的是一个希望的灯塔以及民主的典范。那这些民主典范当然不外乎就是防疫的成果，兼顾经济的非常多的经济的成长，还有人民的安全。那在政策上，还有公部门、私部门之间的合作上，这些典范呢，其实都是台湾能够向外界分享的。那除了政府方面，其实这一次的国事访问当中，柯布亚总统也非常深刻感受到台湾人民的慷慨。那这一份慷慨也使得外贸部长他本人也想起了他们自己国内的马绍尔的人民哦，因为就是这份慷慨使得台湾跟马绍尔之间有非常紧密的连结。这也是过去24年多以来，这台马之间邦谊的重要的意涵。也希望说这份慷慨的邦谊能够持续下去，不只能够深化政府与政府以及人民跟人民之间的许多的连结。除此之外，很多台湾的留学生不外乎就是进入台湾的企业服务，不然就是回到马绍尔共和国担任医生、工程师等，去协助他们马绍尔共和国国内的建设等等。那马绍尔共和国本身也是持续的要继续为台湾在国际上发声，因为马绍尔共和国政府深信台湾应该要能够成为正式的国际组织会员。例如说，像台湾有非常多的成功的防疫的经验呢，都是可以向世界卫生组织分享的。 那台湾即便不是世界卫生组织的成员，还是在疫情当中向许多的国家伸出了援手。那除了疫情之外，其实在乌克兰的情势当中的情形当中，台湾也伸出了非常多的人道的援手。那就乌克兰的情势来讲呢，马绍尔共和国基本上也是在联合国当中谴责俄罗斯的，而且在日内瓦的人权理事会其实也同声谴责俄罗斯。马绍尔共和国的立场认为，所有的国家的主权都不容侵犯。如果各个国家都恣意侵犯其他国家的主权，世界就大乱了。那其实，在整个印太地区的和平来讲呢，其实台湾当然一定是大声疾呼这个地区的和平。其实就这方面来讲，马绍尔共和国也是有相同的立场的，也是高度的支持印太地区的和平，也高度支持美国的印太策略。那虽然马绍尔共和国是一个小岛国家，但是对全世界也有非常重大的，比如说鲔鱼的供应啦，算是这方面有很重大的贡献。那台湾其实就以马绍尔共和国高度仰赖的渔业来讲呢，其实台湾跟马绍尔共和国也有高度的合作，因此也协助了马绍尔共和国的青年的就业。那柯布亚总统他就任以来，也都非常致力于提升马绍尔共和国的民生、国民健康以及教育等等，这些也都非常感谢，这些领域也都是台湾总是高度支持的领域，也非常谢谢台湾这方面的支持。尤其这一次的国事访问，也进一步更新了台马之间的农业技术合作的协议，也是这一次取得的重大成果。那当然，台湾跟马绍尔群岛也不乏在气候变迁方面的许多合作，这也是重大的成果之一。总之呢，这一次的国事访问有非常多，无论是政府还是企业，诸多层级都有不同的交流，开创了非常多的契机。这些契机的开创也会将持续下去。那就像刚刚开场致辞所说的一样，马绍尔共和国是台湾忠实的朋友，同时呢，台湾也是马绍尔共和国忠实的朋友。谢谢大家。
好，谢谢嘉豪。Now, with the permission of the minister, we enter to the second category. 接下来第二类的，我们这边有收到是《自由时报》陈宇的这个提问。陈宇在问：俄罗斯入侵乌克兰的战争造成严重的人道危机，炮弹更摧毁许多乌克兰的家园。请问马绍尔群岛如何看待这场战争？陈宇 from Liberty Times is asking: Russia's invasion of Ukraine has caused a significant destruction and humanitarian crisis and led to destroy many Ukrainian homes. What would be the Marshall Islands' opinion regarding this conflict, the Ukrainian-Russian war? Also, 陈玉也问到，就中国近年来不断强化在太平洋岛国的影响力，不论是经济上、政治或是军事上的活动，都是与日俱增的，试图将太平洋岛国纳入它的势力范围。请问马绍尔群岛是否面临外交上的压力？您如何评价中国在太平洋岛国的活动？Liberty Times asking: In recent years, China has continued to strengthen its presence over Pacific Island countries. It has attempted to bring such nations incorporate into its own sphere of influence through an increasing number of whether economic, political, or even military activities. Is the Marshall Islands facing diplomatic pressure in this regard? What would be your view on China's presence in the Pacific? Also, we received from AFP Agence France-Presse from Amber 法新社民验提问：近年来，中国是否试图接触贵国政府，怂恿马绍尔群岛跟中国建交？您如何看待中国在太平洋地区持续扩大它的影响力？AFP's Amber asking: In recent years, has China approached your government to try to get Marshall Islands to switch diplomatic recognition from Taipei to Beijing? What is your view on China's push for greater influence in the Pacific region? Also, Epoch Times Cindy 的大纪元心仪提问：美国22号任命前外交官尹如上 Joseph Yun 为特使，来负责跟自由联系国 FAS 3国进行自由联合协定 COFA 这个条款相关的更新。想请教总统阁下，对于俄乌战争陷入焦灼之际，美国终于推进了 COFA 的进度，请问您的意见？台湾跟马绍尔以及相关的这个 FAS 的国家在安全方面是否有扩大活动的这个合作的空间，以及中国在西太平洋扩张影响力？请问马绍尔有任何的观察跟相关的呼吁吗 From Epoch Times, Cindy, she's asking, on March 22nd, the United States named former Ambassador Joseph Yun as its envoy in negotiating amendments to certain provisions of the Compact of Free Association, COFA, with Freely Associated States, FAS. My question is, as the Russian-Ukraine conflict entered into a stalemate, what would be your opinion on the United States finally taking action to move the COFA issue forward? Also, is there any scope for Taiwan to expand security cooperation with FAS, Freely Associated States countries, including the Marshall Islands? What are Marshall Islands' observations about China's moving to expand its influence in the West Pacific? Do you have any message that you would like to convey to them? Also from 中时梦丽提问，马绍尔跟美国的自由联合协定 COFA 明年到期，据闻过去这段时间美方没有积极的谈判续约，让中国开出利诱的条件。想请问马绍尔的总统对于中国有没有跟马绍尔来进行接触？ Also, Meng Li from China Times also is asking about Compact of the Free Association. It's heard that this agreement will be expired next year. We heard that in the past, the UN has not been exactly active in negotiating for its extension. And on the other hand, China has offered tempting conditions. We would like to know, has ever China been approached the Marshall Islands? All right. Okay, so all these questions from the second category, if the minister will be so gracious in offering a general statement. Thank you.
Thank you. Those are tougher questions.
Yes, yeah, tougher second category.
Well, let me start by saying, as I expressed earlier, that Marshall Islands strongly condemn what Russia is doing by invading another sovereign nation, which is Ukraine. And we are actively pursuing, however possible, on the political and international arena as a member of the UN, and also with our office in Geneva as a member of human rights. There are serious violations the world is witnessing. I don't need to explain that as a pure human, whether I'm from Taiwan or Pacific Island countries in the Marshall Islands or in Europe for that matter. We all should condemn the action and the aggression we're seeing. So we will continue to strongly express our view in however possible, and we're also taking some measures in our national efforts. We've literally closed our seaports and airports. We are right in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. That is also convenient for a number of international ships to come through for provision, and also an airplane for refueling. So there's a strategic importance there, and we have banned our seaports and airports for any Russian vessels to come through. But also, we also are one of the largest ship registry program for flagship throughout the global shipping industry. And we also looking into expelling any Russian ownership in terms of yachts or those that are listed and are on the sanction list. So we will do our part in working, collaborating with a number of countries. And I believe there were 140 countries, including Marshall Islands, that condemned through UN resolution some time ago on the act on the part of Russia. It's very, very concerning. And we have nothing but hope in taking our part collectively for a peaceful resolution for the situation in Ukraine. With respect to COFA, Compact of Free Association, of course, for those who are not familiar, this is our bilateral agreement that Marshall Islands have secured with another close ally of ours, the United States. And the document covers diplomatic, covers economic, it covers political, and as well as security aspects of our relations. And we have worked over the years, and we continue to amend the agreement. And of course, the interest now is by 2023, which is next year, there's an economic provision that will come to expire. And we've been here before. It was expired almost 20 years ago, and we've come to the table as two partners. They call it negotiation, but I call it dialogue. And then we made an agreement and move on. So likely the same scenario will be taking place. We've started about 2 years ago, but over the many months, there was a stalemate, and with the recent development that you highlighted, with the U.S. administration appointing Ambassador Hu, I think that's how it's pronounced, and of course with the credential the ambassador bring for me, it's a very welcome gesture on the part of the United States, and will allow us, not just the Marshall Islands, but other, as you said, FAS, which include Palau and federal state of Micronesia, for all three respective island countries to engage with the United States. We view this relationship with the United States very unique, and we are keen to continue the compact. And of course, we are hoping, and with the new appointment about the ambassador Hu, that we will broaden the scope of our discussion with some of the issues that we feel it's important. That includes our particular history with nuclear legacy. There remains to be a challenge that we want to work with the United States so we can mutually address these challenges. And of course, beyond the economic and the nuclear issue, there's also the issue of matters involving the negative effects of climate change. The U.S. have many good programs that we want to be part of it, and we want to partner with the United States. And having this economic package come to expire, for us, we view it as an opportunity to re-engage. So I'm positive about our dialogue in the next coming months, and hopefully we'll see a resolution in the near future. And with respect to the scope in engaging Marshall Islands, Taiwan, and security cooperation aspects, we've worked on a number of fronts. Of course, in our waters, we want to safeguard our most valuable asset, which is the fish products. For us, naturally serve an interest because it's our, as I highlighted earlier, main bread and butter for our economy. And we open fishing companies, including Taiwan and others, to follow the rules and do what they have to do to provide and supply the fish to the global community. Really, there's only so much fish stock in the world, and we'll do our part in contributing. And what we ask from the fishing companies, that making sure the harvesting is done in a way that is sustainable and not to deplete the fish stocks, as we've witnessed in other parts of the world, including the Atlantic and other ocean. We want to make sure there's fish for our future generation and continue to sustain it in the way that is necessary for not only to meet the demands of the market, but also the way it's manageable for the long term. So that's where we come in. On other security issues, of course, Marshall Islands and the United States through the compact, there are elements of security aspects to that. And they actually have a U.S. military base in the Marshall Islands. And there's a lot of activities that we continue to be partnered with the United States, believing that in terms of the base there, it serves a purpose. It's a complex, long-range missile site. From the Marshall Islands standpoint, we offer our territory in partner with the United States, and our belief that there needs to be deterrence on the aspect of the global geopolitics that we're witnessing, and we'll continue to do our part with respect to the compact. Now, Taiwan in particular, we welcome the naval squadron to our shores. We opened our waters for any Taiwan vessels, not just the naval, but also the secure fishing fleet that come to our shore. And as partner, we will do what we can and provide what's necessary, and having that arrangement continue. And I understand we have an annual visit, and these squadron, they not only visit, but they build capacity for our folks and law enforcement. We continue to patrol our waters. It's big water, but we need partners like ROC Taiwan with their capability in working closely with our other partners, just as United States, Australia, that we collaborate in safeguarding our livestock. So those are the security elements from the standpoint of the Marshall Islands. We contribute our land and our sea and air in working closely with the United States pursuant to the compact, and we open our borders to our friend, like-minded countries and our allies like Taiwan to help build capacity and also assist in safeguarding our borders from illegal fishing and other illegal activities. With respect to China, I heard quite a few. There were a few questions there. Let me start by saying my focus and our government, and of course President David, is our diplomatic ties and strong relationship with the Republic of China, Taiwan. Let me start by there. And having said that, we will continue to work together with our ally and a strong partner of ROC Taiwan. Now, in terms of China in playing in the region and their policy and their efforts, I really have no comment to that. I cannot say they're doing this right or they're doing this wrong. Obviously, they have their own strategy, they have their own policy. What I know and I can express here that Marshall Island is a strong partner of both the United States and Taiwan. And we will continue to, work in close collaboration in however possible on the issue of security and also on the issue of economic and cooperation. We do have also Chinese fishing companies that comes to our water, provided they're registered and they follow the rules and regulations. And we'll continue to partner with a number of other countries as well. But it's very clear, and I must be clear, that when it comes to our diplomatic ties, we know where we are. And we will continue to be partner and work strongly with our friends like ROC Taiwan, and we envision to continue to do so in the many years ahead. Thank you.
Great, thank you so very much, Minister. Okay, Jiahao for translation. Thank you.
好的，刚刚先前有稍微提到俄罗斯的议题哈，那马绍尔共和国的立场就是强烈谴责俄罗斯入侵另外一个主权国家，也就是乌克兰。那马绍尔共和国将会在无论是联合国还是在日内瓦的人权理事会，都会跟各个国家同声谴责，并且一同制裁俄罗斯的行为，并且试图用各种管道、用各种的方式去对俄罗斯进行这样子的谴责跟制裁的表达。那在海跟空域方面呢，基本上马绍尔共和国已经开始向俄罗斯注册的船籍以及飞机的国籍等这样子的交通工具跟船只呢，都进行了所谓的禁止，并且如果在马绍尔共和国的水域当中，如果有任何注册为俄罗斯国籍的船只或者是游艇的话，也会进一步做驱逐。那除此之外，马绍尔共和国因为他们有这样子的战略地位哈，就是说他们的海域基本上在航运等等方面都有对俄罗斯实施禁止，也会积极的跟各个国家去合作，共同来制裁，希望说能够透过这样子的谴责跟制裁的方式，能够达到和平化解乌克兰危机的目标。那就以自由 自由联合协定这样子的一个议题方面呢，这是马绍尔共和国跟美国的双方的协定。协定的内容当然也包括了外交、经济、安全等关系。那基本上过去很多年以来有非常多修订的工作，像2023年修订待更新的条款是经济方面的条款。基本上20年前其实曾经也有这样子的一个到期要续约的情形过。那与其说谈判，不如说是马绍尔共和国跟美国方面在进行对话。那基本上就是说，接下来可能会是说再讲把20年前的对话再重新开启。那现在美国比较有一点点的变数，就是说美国他们派了尹大使，就是前大使来担任这方面的一个主导的地位。那当然基本上无论是马绍尔群岛还是帛琉、密克罗尼西亚等，就是 FAS 的国家，都是很希望说能够持续跟美国保持这样子的独特的关系。那这样的关系在尹大使的接任之后呢，一定也会持续下去。马绍尔共和国也很期待跟美国持续这样子的一个独特的关系。那现在就是说，马绍尔群岛跟美国有许多共同的，无论是经济还是气候变迁的挑战，希望说能够这些挑战能够进一步能够去因应，进一步扩大美国跟马绍尔之间的谈话的范围跟合作的范围，甚至有美国有很多方面，像是气候变迁的计划等等，希望马绍尔共和国也希望说能够以 FAS 国家的地位去参加美国的计划。所以说接下来的进一步的更新与对话、续约等等，其实对马绍尔群岛来说是一个很好的一个契机。期待说未来马美关系之间能够有很棒的发展，透过这样的对话有很进一步的发展。那安全合作方面来讲，首先第一个是与生态方面的安全。生态方面的安全来讲，我们都知道马绍尔的经济是非常高度仰赖渔业的，所以他们首先第一个保护的是渔业的资源。因此，马绍尔共和国会强烈要求在马绍尔水域当中进行尾鱼捕捞的所有的船只跟企业都必须要遵守规定，必须要能够兼顾市场的供需以及兼顾未来世代的永续、生态的永续。因此，像以台湾的船只跟企业等，在相关的水域其实捕捞都是非常符合法规的，这是一个很好的事情。那当然，就是说跟美国安全的合作方面，当然美国在马绍尔群岛的岛屿上面有部署飞弹的基地，所以就马绍尔共和国的立场就是说，他们把土地开放给美方。然后希望说，透过跟美国的安全合作，能够进一步提升在太平洋的核阻力，能够进一步确保太平洋地区的安全跟稳定。那这样子的开放，其实也是对台湾也是有开放的。像水域来讲，不只是台湾的渔船，甚至台湾的政府船只，也是都能定期有在造访马绍尔群岛。那这些造访也能够进一步提升马绍尔群岛他们在法律执行以及警力方面的一些能力，能够进一步去提升马绍尔群岛周边水域的安全。那这样子的安全的合作，不只是跟台湾、跟美国、跟澳洲等也都有合作。基本上马绍尔他们的心态就是说，能够跟理念相近的国家去进一步开放海域跟土地等等，不但能够进行安全方面的维护能力的建构，甚至还能够进一步去打击许多非法捕捞渔业的这种问题。那刚刚有提到就是中国的这方面的问题，中国有没有在接触马绍尔群岛共和国等等。那据中国在该地区的所作所为的是非等等的议题，外贸部长他本身并不做评论，因为中方有中方他自己的政策。但是就以外交立场，马绍尔群岛他们要重申他们的外交立场非常明确，一定是非常重视跟中华民国台湾之间的邦交关系，也会持续的跟中华民国台湾这一个友邦进行进一步的合作。那马绍尔共和国同时是台湾以及美国的忠实伙伴以及盟友，也会持续的进化深化，无论是跟美方还是跟台方的经济以及安全的合作。
Thank you very much, Jiahao. So thank you very much for this very comprehensive answer, Foreign Minister Nembra. Want to make sure there's any other additional questions on the ground? 确定一下媒体朋友有没有其他额外补充的提问想提出来的？ 好，那如果没有的话，我们今天非常谢谢大家参加记者会。I also want to really express our sincere appreciation. How honored to have you here for Minister, and also have delegation of President David Kabua for the first time the state visit here in Taiwan. And so before we closing that, how about we have like a group picture? 媒体有提到说可不可以有一个一起照相，对不对？大家要那个，那我们请 with your permission, so perhaps we can invite the VIPs to join us for a group picture. We have please, Madam Nemra would like to join us for a group picture. Ambassador Jeffrey Shaw, 我们请肖大使 and of course 我们亚太司司长、我们周大使，我们请他们也上台来照相。Also Ambassador Edwards, please join us for a group picture, and our Chief Protocol, please join us, Ambassador Tom Lee. We do a group picture on the stage, OK? 我们就做一个那个集体的这个照相，谢谢。Thank you very much for Minister. So we remain for a picture. How about we do a Santa? Marshall Islands in Taiwan. Marshall Islands in Taiwan.
手机。
麻烦那个你们可以让一点，让一下。
对，快点。
Yeah, they want more? More pictures? Yes? Okay, we do that again? All right. Yeah.